Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode of Booked. I'm your host, Saffron Asteria, and I'm joined today by Rosaire Bushey. How are you doing?
Hey, good, thanks. That photo was, oh my God, that photo that flashed up just before with me holding the coffee mug.
I love it. It's so good.
I looked at that and said, "How does he put pillowcases on?" My God, that was a horrible photo.
You sent it to me. I'm not being funny. You sent that one to me, and you said pick which one you want, and that was the one that the shape fit the best in the space I had.
All right,
so that's why I chose it.
Success.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm very, very excited to talk about your work and this big announcement that you have. And I heard there was mention of a free book.
Yeah, today and tomorrow, Sigil of Enderune is free on Kindle, so you can just click the link or go to my link tree and find me on Amazon, and you can download that. I think about 70 people have taken me up on it so far, so
that's great.
Yeah, it's cool. To start, so hopefully they read it now, you know.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I admittedly almost always take advantage of the free book ebook thing. So I want to encourage people, but then when you do that, you then end up with like 100 books that you haven't got time to read. So yeah.
And doing this and writing and everything else, it's difficult to find the time to read books.
It is. It really is. My TBR is literally, if it was physical, it could kill me if it knocked me over. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, and that's the thing as well, because like we all have a lot of friends that are writers and you want to support them, and you're like, oh, I better put them slightly higher up on the list. And then everything else gets pushed down, and then there's the guilt. So
I don't let guilt bother me anymore. I've gotten over that.
Oh, I'm envious. I don't know if I'll ever not feel guilty. I think I came out of the womb feeling guilty. Anyway, that's my problem, not yours. So we have a lot of people. We have a lot of people that have joined us in the chat already today, so I'm just gonna say hi to some of them. If I miss anyone, I'm sorry. But we have Sarah Arnu, she's in the UK, so it's midnight right now, and she stayed up just for your show, which I thought was very kind.
Aww.
We also have Tobias. I don't know who else was above you. They've disappeared. I don't know if you were number 4 or if there was anyone above you. We also have Michael Vadney from Author Adjacent and the legend that is Mike Mollman. I knew he'd be lurking in the bushes. I knew.
Legend in his own mind.
And we also have Ellen Holmes. Thank you so much for being here. You're not late. You're here exactly at the right time. You were here before the show started, so that's fine.
Just when you're meant to be.
Exactly, like a wizard. And we also have Tim McKay. Thank you so much for being here today. So, oh gosh, I keep clicking on stuff. Okay, anyway, so we're here to talk about you, and I know that's not something you do very much.
No,
you know, have to force it out of you.
I'm happy to talk to other people and interview them, but generally I try to just, you know, if there's a camera around, I'll stay behind it and make sure the shot's lined up right. And I'll let Mike do the self publicizing, but people say I need to do it more, so thanks for giving me the opportunity. And it's nice to see a show that's so professionally done with music and everything, and like the whole lead in and all that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My I've got to brag on my nephew a little bit. Designed the he composed the music for it, and he gave me 2 options, and one was this, which sounds quite like some of the music from the Spyro the Dragon games I'm obsessed with and have been obsessed with since I was a child, and some other one that sounded like really creepy, like it was going to be at the beginning of like To Catch a Predator, and I thought I can't have that be the theme tune. So that's how we ended up with that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that you're able to be here today. We also have Trinity that's arrived as well. Hello.
Hello.
God, lots of support for you in the chat, which is really lovely. So I guess
you mean from Mike, hold your book up. I don't actually have a copy of my book, any of my books here, because I'm in someone's basement right now. And I'm getting ready to move basements, and I don't have any of my own books here.
Oh, okay.
So that's why there's a picture of it there and behind me.
Yes, and we have that. There is also the QR code that a few people have already scanned. If you want to get hold of Sigil of Enderune, then it is free on Kindle for the next, did you say 2 days, 3 days?
What's that? Today and tomorrow.
Okay, today.
It was yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Fantastic. So the first question that I usually ask people, and this is largely for the benefit of those who don't really know you or what kinds of things you write. What do you write?
Fantasy, almost strictly fantasy with almost zero romance.
Good.
And, it's fantasy, right? So a fool's going to die. But generally, it's not like graphic violence.
Okay.
And I tend to, not purposefully, but I don't swear. I probably should more because I think in a lot of fantasy situations, profanity would absolutely be used a lot more than it is in books. So maybe the next book. But then you have to put little things like profanity.
Or you can
take on trigger warnings.
Yeah, just let people discover it themselves. That's what we used to do. Not so much the trigger warnings part, but like the profanity part. It's just a nice little surprise, I find.
Yeah, it's weird though, because I had one review where somebody said, well, I didn't really appreciate the swearing in it. And I'm like, what? And I think the book may have had like the word hell or damn in it once, right? It's like, wow, that's a you problem, my friend.
They can't have been British.
No, absolutely not.
No. There's no way. There's no way. Oh, goodness. Also, yes, I would like to also draw attention to this. Do they know you're in the basement?
Yeah, I've been here for about a year. I'm not like chained up or anything.
I was going to say, have you been able to leave? Mike, I think you know where he is. Go find him. Rescue him. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Excellent. So when did you start writing?
The very first thing I in 5th grade, I won this. They had this like contest for grades 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I forget what the prompt was, but we had to write an essay on something. And I was in 5th grade and I won the thing.
That's cool.
And then I never thought about it again.
Until now.
And getting out of high school, I remember one of my friends' mothers said to me, you should be a writer. And I don't know why they said that. But I joined the Air Force out of high school and went to basic journalism school. And that's what I did for my first 12 years in the Air Force, I guess, was weekly based newspapers. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, I've been writing ever since. And when I retired, I had some GI Bill money left and said, well, I'll go get another master's degree just for fun. And I got a English creative writing degree.
Oh, wow.
Part of that was, we want to see, 40 to 50,000 words of a book as part of the project for it. And I'd had this book kind of kicking around in my head for a long, long time. And that became Magic's Genesis de Grey.
Wow.
Which was book 1 of my first 6-book series. So.
I love that you said your first 6-book series, because I imagine there are going to be tons of 6-book series from you then.
No, absolutely not.
First and last 6-book series. Got it.
If, there's one of those learning things. If I was to do it over again, it would be 2 trilogies. Because the first 3 books have the same antagonist who has his entire arc end at the end of the 3rd book. And then it picks up another antagonist who runs through books 4, 5, and 6. So it actually very neatly would have been 2 trilogies. Same kind of story, but very different. I think there's probably like 20 or 30 years that separate the end of book 3 and the beginning of book 4. So.
Well, have you considered republishing them as trilogies?
Oh yeah, I've considered it a lot.
And considered that
I haven't done it. Yeah, I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So.
Is it something that is on the cards for you, do you think, in the future?
We'll see. I might get a hip replaced or something and end up spending, weeks at home, not being able to move and do it then. So
that would be the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, right. It's possible. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I imagine it's really difficult to think of things like the future when you're chained in someone's basement.
Right. There's always that thing though. It's like, do I go back and spend the however many months redoing that, and because you're going to edit it again, because obviously after 10 books you've learned quite a bit, and you're going to read stuff and go, oh no, and kind of go back and change that, and then you're going to have to get new covers and blah blah blah.
Yeah, there is that.
So or you could do something new.
There you go. Well, the thing is, you have to place your energy where it's worth placing, because you have like a really finite amount of, energy to give. I've used the word energy twice, but you get what I'm saying. This is why we need editors. But yeah, and it's I don't know. I think do you ever look back at the first book that you wrote and think, oh, I really would have done that totally differently? Or, how much have you changed as a writer?
Well, there's a couple things I would have done differently, right? So I kind of made these analogous, that's probably not a word. So there are elves and dwarves, but they're called something different, right? And they're very heavily characteristic of elves and dwarves, and it's absolutely no. But I didn't want to call them elves and dwarves, and now I look at it and go, just call them elves and dwarves, man.
Yeah.
And there are a couple little like things in the first book. You know how sometimes you put in like a little poem or something that's supposed to be a words. They escape me.
It's supposed to be a words.
Yeah. A prophecy type of thing.
Okay, yeah.
I put at least one of those in there, and then I never did anything with it. And I did it entirely on purpose. It's like, you know what? Not every prophecy pays off. So this is the real world of this world, and it was just never brought up again. Nobody's ever said anything about it, so whatever.
That's fine then. It's all right.
So yeah, I would change some things like that. I'd tighten it up a little bit.
Interesting. Okay. So do you have so you've written 10 books so far, and it sounds like you're probably going to write more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have just an infinite amount of stories that you want to tell? Can you ever see it ending? Or do you think you'll be writing books until the day you keel over?
Probably until I can no longer see the keyboard. I wouldn't say an infinite number, but there's a couple other from that original 6-book series I did. I've also done 3 books in a follow-on series that will be a 5 the Ranger's Deck. That will be a 5-book series. Originally, that was going to be an 11-book series. So the titular Ranger gets 11 kind of tarot-like cards at the beginning. And about midway through book 2, I said, no, I can do this in 5. I don't need 11 books to do this story. I mean, I could do 11 books, but it doesn't need that. It would just be dragged out for no real purpose. So I have 6 cards left over, but I've had in the back of my head, probably going back to book 3 or so of the original series, an idea for that same world generations into the future, because the story is about magic going into a world for the very first time, and the very first people who get their hands on magic and can use it. That's cool. And then the world starts to kind of evolve into a typical fantasy world with magic and all that goes with it. So this would be just generations in the future in that typical fantasy world now, where it's not evolving anymore. It's just kind of baked into it. So that's probably what will happen, is I'll revisit that at some point. How do you keep track of all of that? I always wonder that about. Yeah, it's like, how do you remember all that? Well, I don't.
But how do you organize it? How do you make sure that you don't tread on your own feet when you're writing?
I am a total pantser.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So when I did my first book, that was all it was intended to do. There is one line in that first book about this double-bladed sword, and I just kind of wrote it in to kind of add a little background to whatever it was. And as I was writing that book, I kept thinking about that sword and thought, well, I could do a story, and that's where the second book came from, was that thought. So I knew where I wanted it to start, and I knew where I wanted it to end. And then the third book, I knew I wanted it to be kind of a very light homage to Dante's Inferno.
Mm.
right? So I knew what that was going to be, and it just keeps going. So the hard part is remembering names and like what people are wearing and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
when I'm writing books now, like book 4 in my Rangers deck series, which I wrote Sigil after book 3, so it's been a couple of years.
Mhm.
You'll see my draft of book 4 of that series will have a lot of like highlights on it,
Mm.
where it will say find name of this guy or find name of this town or whatever it is, because I just totally forgot. I mean, I can see it in my head, but I don't know the names. I'm gonna have to go back and reread a bunch of stuff.
Do you leave yourself a lot of passive aggressive notes or just like overtly aggressive notes?
Yeah. That's what I do it in Word, right? So I leave comments off to the side, and anybody who I've ever edited for will be very familiar with these comments off to the side.
Mhm.
And some of them will be like, yeah, I really like this. And some of them will be like, don't screw this up, this particular thing. What's your swearing policy?
What's my swearing policy?
Yeah.
Oh, you can go ahead. This isn't for
Okay. Yeah.
children.
So I'll just write things, don't fuck with this thing and whatever it is. Yeah, I'm not very nice to myself. I tend to tone it down a little bit for people I edit for, but
Just a little bit.
not a lot.
I always leave notes like, what the fuck does that mean? When I've gone back and I've read it and I've gone, I don't know what that means, but I've got to find out what the fuck it means.
Yeah.
And that's my instruction to myself is I find that bullying myself works, but if people bully me, I can't handle it. It makes me cry. So I could take it for myself.
And I gotta write it in order too. I cannot understand those people who will like write chapter 11 and then go back to 2 and then write the last chapter kind of thing and then put it all together.
Oh no.
It's like, that's just the kind of Rubik's Cube I want no part of.
I like to read books that do that to me, like that when they're a bit like Pulp Fiction, where it's kind of like random times and then everything kind of knits together, or you get like point of view and then 8 years later this point of view and then yesterday this point of view. I like things like that. I can't write like that. I can't. It makes me stressed.
There's a name for that, which I totally forgot, but I was watching this show and there's a very specific name for where when you do the same thing multiple times from different POVs. And that's what I did with Sigil, actually. So you will kind of follow one character as they go off one direction, and then it will go back to that point where they split up. And then the other character going off in a different direction, and it'll go back to the point where they split up. And the third character kind of going off, and then everybody kind of convenes back in another point of the book later on.
How do you decide like who to put at what time? Do you just go with the flow? I do the same. Yeah. It's making me feel better about myself.
The most, I would honestly, I would love to be able to sit there and write out a whole outline of things. The best I've ever done is, a couple of index cards, and those are like, okay, yeah, got it, and throw it away and carry on. So
I have to vomit it out of me. Like I have to sit there and force it out of me, and then I can figure out what's going on. But I can't plan. I can't do
it. It's funny though, because like Sigil came about from a guest Mike and I had on the show.
Really?
I think it was Michael Roberti. And he was talking about how in his world, like these people had tattoos, and the magic in the tattoos when the person died. I forget exactly what he was saying, but it made me think of something. And so I started playing around with a world where magic had to be written down, right? So you could have, not that you can have scrolls, that you have to, because the magic is in the ink, right? And the longer you can keep the ink on the paper and write without lifting it up, and the thicker you can make it, the more powerful the spell is.
Oh, that's very cool.
And when I started doing it, I had all these groups. I had these like 3 groups of magic, and like each color did a different. And I got about 40,000 words into it and just kind of went, oh, this is just so convoluted, So I think I ripped out like 20,000 words and kind of went back and did it again. But I think it's much better for it, for not going into that kind of detail with it. Yeah, and so the whole thing about having to write it down is still very much a part of it, because the sigil itself is a mythical thing from a wizard gone by named Molmont. So, head nod to Mike.
I was going to say, that sounds very familiar.
Yep. Molmont meets a tragic end.
Classic.
But he gives the world the sigil, which they say will let someone be able to cast magic with a thought, as opposed to having to write it down. Right? Which obviously makes that person very much more powerful, because it's so much easier, right? You don't need to spend the time and kind of reciting the words and all that nonsense. So
interesting.
Yeah, all from one little conversation, just that one little thing, it kind of strikes something in your head, and you kind of scribble it down real quick and go, okay. And, before you know it, there's 100,000 words. So
sometimes that's the best way, though.
Yeah.
When something just tickles your, nearly said pickle, but that's the wrong thing. When it tickles your brain and your imagination, and it lets you just run wild. Is that your favorite thing about writing? Like, do you have a favorite thing, or is it just the act of doing it?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see where it takes you. Before I wrote my first book, you'd hear these people on interviews with NPR or whatever, and they go, well, I didn't know what my character was going to do. And I just used to scream at the radio when I heard that kind of thing. It's like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Of course you know what your character is going to do. You're writing it. Until I had a character in book 4 of my first series, Red Priest Rising, who I named after my best friend growing up. And I told him, I said, you're going to be a character in this book. It's going to be a little tertiary character, not a big deal. And then I had to call him up one day and said, yeah, you died, dude. And I didn't mean for it to happen. And when it happened, I kind of went, shit. I read it again and said, no, that makes sense. He was in this situation, and this happened, and then he did this thing, which he probably would have done, and sucks to be you. So now I get it. It's like your characters will do things that you don't know.
Yeah. I have always maintained that writers are a tiny bit possessed, but just by their characters. Just a tiny bit, not like a full-on exorcist thing, because you can get on with your daily life. But when it comes to actually telling the story, they're creeping around in there. I don't know what it is. I think it's like, must be some creative part of the brain that can like run off and do its own thing. That makes us a little bit like airy-fairy about, how to navigate the world and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I quite like it, actually. I like the whole check out of logic brain and look back at what I've written and go, oh, that happened. That's nice.
Sometimes you look back and you go, did I write that? Damn, that's okay.
Sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I look back and I go, I can't believe I wrote that. And sometimes I go, I can't believe I wrote that. It just depends. Sometimes it's shockingly awful. Sometimes it's surprisingly good. So, yeah. So you already have your link tree available for people to go and find your books, but where is the best place to go find them? Like if you had to pick a site to navigate people to.
It's on, my books are on Amazon.
Okay, cool.
If you want to call, send me an email or something and say, hey, I'd like you to send me a book, I'll be happy to send you a book, a paperback or a hardback. But yeah. Cool. Again, I'm at that place, with working every day and everything, where I would love to spend 6 to 8 hours a day doing nothing but this and saying, okay, Tuesday is going to be my marketing day or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. But, like you said, you have to kind of prioritize something and deprioritize something else. And I just said, yeah, I'll worry about putting books on the street right now and selling them later or not, For part of me, it's just like, yeah, it'd be something for my kids one day if they ever read them, or my grandkids, you know.
Yeah.
That's probably an awful lot of work for grandkids I don't have, but
It's a nice legacy though, isn't it? Like something that you can leave behind that is timeless. Especially something like fantasy, because it is pretty timeless. Because it's not like, unless it's urban fantasy, it's always like set in this theoretical past, almost always. I know I'm using a really broad description of it, but you know, you can read fantasy at pretty much any time and it's still pretty mind-blowing.
I think you get a pretty good idea of what the author is like too. I've noticed a lot of recurring themes in mine, especially around religion. They're not good.
Okay.
But I mean, I really went into this story trying specifically not to bring it in.
Okay.
But I did.
It crept in, didn't it? Yeah, I knew it was going
really
to.
It just,
you can't help how you made up.
Well, I think in fantasy worlds, I think that, you know, when you think about medieval times and everything, the church was such a big part of their lives that, you know, you have your castle and you have your market and you have a church.
Yep.
So in a way, you can't get away from it. And it makes a handy villain.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So there's a villain I can not root for, but I love a villain. Like I love hating villains. I don't want to like them. I don't really want to empathize with them.
Yeah.
I'd like to dislike them very much. That's my kind of villain.
Yeah, you have to make them kind of likable, but you also have to make them do something so kind of despicable that people can't actually root for them. Yeah.
I agree with you.
I tried to make my first villain. I just used a lot of like leadership theory, and I made him a good leader in practice, but with totally bad goals.
Great.
Right? So you can understand how people would follow him because he's doing all the things, not realizing that he is leading them to the edge of a cliff.
Cool. So, like a cult leader.
Kind of like, yeah.
I love a cult leader. Not literally, but I like them in fiction and in reality, if I'm being honest. Like I love a cult documentary. I'm gonna go off a cliff myself in a minute if I don't stop talking. But so just for anyone that has joined us late or if you're watching the recording, so if you want to check out Rose Books, there's a link there. There's a QR code if you want to scan it. And I did put one in the description. I made it very easy for you. So if you're watching this within the first 48 hours of the show going out, you can go and get Sigil of Enderune for free on Kindle. So go do it.
28th.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So you've got some news.
Yeah. So because, you know, getting this book out and working, we always try to find ways to procrastinate. I'm sure you do. Yeah.
Yeah. All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So writing book 4 of Ranger's Deck, I'm kind of, and talking to Mike all the time. And for a couple of years now, I've been trying to get Mike behind an idea of doing a Kickstarter campaign with a very specific kind of thing. And, and that's doing kind of an anthology where people would get a story every day because, you know, at Christmas you get advent calendars and things. And the problem with being me, is that advent calendars are generally makeup, which I don't wear, booze, which I don't need, and sweets, which I absolutely shouldn't have. So is there, you know, what about stories? Stories are a non-calorie, guilt-free kind of thing that anybody can enjoy anytime. Now, getting Mike on board with anything like this, just like Bald and Balding, getting him on board with that takes a little time.
Okay.
And it has to be kind of coaxed into it. And he wasn't going to do it, but he said, go ahead and try to get some people. So I reached out to about a dozen authors to start with. You know, people we had met through the show or at, you know, going to Comic-Cons and things like that, people we knew. And right away, people were like, I'm in. I think we've had like excuse me, 3 people who have said they can't do it because they looked at their schedule and they said, I can't commit to it. I've got too much going on. Fair enough. But once those first people came in, Mike kind of had to go, okay, fine. We'll do this thing. So yeah, we are putting together an anthology called Rings of Adventure that will have a Kickstarter campaign as part of it. And there it is. Yeah.
There it is. What a stunning cover.
I'll talk about that in a second. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something.
No, you're fine. Technology is a cruel mistress.
It really is. All right, there we go.
I'm going to put your bit bigger so we can see what it says behind it.
Right. So the idea is that we got together about 3 dozen authors from a variety of genres, mostly fantasy, some horror, some sci-fi, some romance adjacent kind of thing. Not as many of those as I thought we might get.
Yeah.
And we're putting together an anthology of short stories that people will be able to get on the Kickstarter, which starts September 1st, and they will be emailed one every day for the entire month of December. And then, of course, there will be a beautiful hardback version of this being printed in Canada with bells and whistles and sprayed edges and all those kind of fun things.
Amazing.
That will be available as well. So yeah, really excited about that. And they're all authors that we invited to do this and who have wanted to take part. We have in there right now, I think there are 3 at least who are SPIFBO semifinalists this year.
Amazing.
Tobias, I think, is one, and Ellen Holmes, and I don't want to say the third one because I'm not absolutely sure, and I'm very, very sorry if I've forgotten. If you're here, pop it in the chat. So yeah, it's a really good group of folks. We got JCM Byrne on board, and Dave Dobson as well. And I think you have a list of, we can go through, put the list up later so everybody can see all the folks who are on board. And one Saffron Asteria is also.
I'm going to be doing it as well. Psych! I knew what the news was the whole time. Oh, this is super, super, super exciting to be a part of. It's Kane Williams is the other.
Okay, sorry. Our resident Australian on board. And we're also covering like 4 continents. We've got a couple folks from the UK who live in the UK, not just from the UK.
Yeah, not pretenders like me.
We have Sean Just from South Africa. We've got a couple guys from Australia. Then, of course, a bunch of Canadians and Yanks. So, yeah.
Amazing. Fantastic.
All over the place.
This is so exciting. I love that you managed to convince Mike to do this as well, because this is a huge undertaking. Like, I'm seeing all the stuff going on in the background, and it's not like just some la-di-da thing that you just slap together. There's so much work that's going into this, and there are so many people that you have to organize, and it's like herding cats with authors. So you're doing great so far.
It is a bit like herding cats, but they're very well behaved cats, because like Trinity Cunningham is doing lots of very cool, like this whole background and everything you see, she's putting all that together, and she's kind of put the cover together with the art we have. And then Kane is putting together a bunch of social media stuff, and Mike Vadney is doing some TikTok things that we can all kind of grab on and share. So everybody's, because we all do this anyway, we all kind of know what needs to be done, which makes it a little easier. If you do have to ask someone to do something, it's not going to be that, they're not going to have to learn a new skill to do it, right? They can just go, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And so there's some logistics involved. Absolutely. Right. I mean, in the military, that's what they say is amateurs talk about tactics and professionals talk about logistics. And there is absolutely some logistics involved in doing this. But Mike loves himself a spreadsheet. So
he does.
That's all good too.
Yeah. It's a good way of organizing yourself.
What's that?
It's a good way of organizing yourself. I know Trinity uses it for plotting. So
yeah.
Yeah.
If you can deal with them, they're good.
Yeah.
You mentioned the art. This art here
Yeah.
was done by Matt Slay
Mhm.
of Lynchburg, Virginia. And Matt is doing my Ranger Decks covers, and he has done some covers for Mike's books as well.
Mhm.
And he doesn't do them on a computer, so I actually have like pieces of paper with this artwork on it, the originals.
That's cool.
And I called him up and told him what we were going to do,
Mhm.
and he said, "Yeah." And I kind of gave him an idea, which he thankfully didn't really use. And within a day, he sent me a sketch for this, So you've got the dragon representing the fantasy, and the
Mhm.
skull representing the horror, and the starfield representing the sci-fi, and the rose, the romance, all that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he kind of sketched that out, and within 24 hours sent me a sketch and said, "How about this?" And it's like,
Wow.
"Yeah, please, yes, please."
It's
Um,
very cool.
so he does great work.
Mm.
Very, very happy with Matt. He's and just a great guy too. If you ever get to meet him, he actually is producing his second um, graphic novel. So
Wow.
he's kind of into the writing space in a way now, but
Mhm.
a much more difficult, I think, in some ways, writing space, because it has to
Mhm.
fit the bubble and tell a story in a very concise amount of words.
Mhm.
So,
Well,
yeah.
also people have to jive with your art style as well, because that can make or break, somebody's choice to spend time reading something or buying something. So, uh, firstly, thank you for including me in this. I'm so excited. I think this is going to be the first thing that's like published that I've written. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Very
then
excited.
you and Sebastian Carlisle,
Mhm.
this will also be the first thing he's published. Sebastian's written a ton of stuff
Mhm.
and published none of it.
Wow.
Mike and I are like, what are you doing?
It must just be for him. That's nice.
But this is really a good way for readers
Mhm.
to discover 30 plus new indie authors
Mhm.
without the heavy investment of, 150,000 word book or whatever it is.
Mhm.
You can get one book, you can get a little taste of a bunch of different people, and you're almost certain to find, a few that really kind of their style speaks to you, and then you can kind of go look them up.
Mhm.
As part of the anthology, we're going to have a page before each story where each author will tell us a little bit about themselves, and we'll have a QR code or um, some way where people can go find their work as
Mhm.
well.
That's cool.
So it's about kind of servicing the reader more than anything else.
Mhm. No, it's a fantastic idea, and you're doing so much to help elevate the people that are involved in it as well. It's not just like, I don't know, none of it feels frivolous. It all feels really considered, and I don't know, just it's been a really nice like community involvement that I've seen, and everyone's just so, I don't know, invested in this doing so well. How can people support the Kickstarter? Because it starts on the 1st of
September.
September. It's because I read the word December and I went, no, that's not right. The 1st of September is when the Kickstarter starts. So by scanning this QR code, what can they do now?
Well, what they can do is they can go to the site, right,
Mhm.
the Kickstarter site, and they'll see Rings of Adventure on there. And right now, they'll only see just basically what you're seeing in the background.
Mhm.
And there'll be a button for them where they can sign up to be notified when the thing launches, right?
Great.
And if people could do that, that will help us a lot,
Mhm.
because, if we go into this with, several hundred people who are waiting for it, that
Mhm.
will tell us that it's, you know, we're in for it
Mhm.
to do it all. So that'll be really great. And, nobody's getting rich on this thing,
Yeah.
especially with, 30, 36, 37 different authors.
Mhm.
Um, and that's just how we chose to do it, right? There are people out there who will say, okay, we'll have a call for things, and we'll give you $20 and
Mhm.
take your story, and thank you very much. And
Mhm.
but we wanted to, if we do really well, we wanted to make sure everybody does really well, because that whole rising tide thing. We've all got covers. We've all got covers to get made, and we've all got editors to pay, and some of us have audiobooks to make. And
yeah,
there you are.
absolutely. Well, I'm hoping that this does super well, but largely because I can see so much work going into it that it deserves to do well. It's going to be well worth people's money. So scan the QR code, select the notify me option so that you don't miss the start of the Kickstarter, because I think it only goes on for like 20 something days, 28 days.
Yeah, the 1st to the 21st of September. You can join later than the 21st of September, right? The prices all go up a little bit.
Okay.
But there is a definite cutoff that's not too much later than that, because we obviously have to get all the stuff up to the printer to get printed, and make sure we know who everybody is so people can start getting their stories in the email the 1st of December. I think I do need to say, though, that I've mentioned before the whole idea of the Advent calendar, and that's where the idea started. This is not a Christmas anthology.
Good. Okay? That's not what I've written.
If you are expecting Cindy Lou Who and all of that kind of oorah around the tree, just take that right out of your head, because I have read about half of these so far, and I don't know if there's a one where someone doesn't meet a grisly demise really early in the story. This skews a little dark.
It is quite dark, but there's a skull on the cover, so that should tell people they need to know.
It should, but I just want to make sure they know.
Okay. Well, we know that it's not a Christmas themed, it's just an advent of fantastic stories from a range of incredible authors. So I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it yet, so tell me no if we're not, but could we discuss the stretch goals? Like, what can people work towards or help us work towards?
Right. Most of the stretch goals are going to be centered around the hardcover edition. There'll be an ebook edition and a hardcover. So I don't have the list right in front of me, but like a ribbon kind of thing, and the sprayed edges and foil embossed covers and printed end papers, those are all in the list. The biggest stretch goal we have right now is an audiobook version of this, which we have talked to Tracy Ortolano, who, if you want to hear from Tracy, you can go to the Bald and Balding website on YouTube and scroll in there. I think it was like last November or December or something. We had her on the show, but her and a male narrator named Dane, I didn't get the last name, have agreed to work with us if we meet that goal to produce a professionally produced audio version of this.
That is very cool.
And we're certainly open to ideas. So if people sign up and have an idea for a stretch goal or something else, we will absolutely take that into consideration.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. A little part of me hopes that it's Dana Carvey, but it's probably not going to be.
Dane, not Dana.
Oh, I thought you said Dana. I was like, oh man,
sorry.
it was Dana Carvey. Got really excited. I'm sure Dane's lovely as well. I'm sure that he does great work. But yeah, that's fantastic. I think that's a really, really funky stretch goal, and I really hope that we reach that. I won't ask you about numbers right now. People can find that out when they go and support the Kickstarter. We'll have to leave some bit of mystery. So these daily emails are going to come through from the 1st of December for those who have backed the Kickstarter, and they'll get one story per day, which is a heck of a lot of stories.
At least one, yeah. We've got enough people where hopefully, maybe there'll be a couple days where they'll get an extra, but at least one story a day.
Awesome. So do you know, and it's okay if you don't know this yet, so do you know like roughly what sort of order you're going to put them in? Are you going to sort of lay them all out and figure out like, okay, so we've got lots of horror, lots of fantasy, we're going to split them up a little bit? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, we started to think about that a little bit. We don't know yet. I think we'll probably do like the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day kind of ones. We'll pull those out specifically depending on the story, right? I think
Yeah.
the one that kind of most fits that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we'll try to spread them out a little bit as best we can. We'll see. Either that, or I'll just put all the stories in a bowl and pick one out and say, okay, this is today's. I don't know.
That either works, to be honest. It's all a game of chance, really. I don't think that it's necessary to put my story first because you want people to read the rest of them. Don't want to put them off, do you? No, I'm quite proud of it, actually. I'm really excited. Like, when you gave us the theme, you said I think it was Mike actually that suggested it, but I imagine you had something to do with it. Said, the theme is Rings of Adventure, but it's like any interpretation of the word rings, which I loved. And because at first I thought, oh, rings, I don't know, it's going to be really fantasy leaning, but actually there's a huge range of interpretations of the word. I'm actually really excited to start reading everybody else's stories because it's really cool to see how people have used that interpretation, because there are quite a lot of fantasy authors, but they're not all doing fantasy, and then also not all doing like a magic ring, which is also very cool. But like, it's such a good range. It's not like 5 gold rings like part of the Christmas song.
And that's kind of the allusion to the Advent calendar, right? Is the rings. But yeah, we didn't want to make it that specific. And I have just now thought of something I wish I would have thought of before I wrote my story.
Oh.
You're familiar with ding dongs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's also from another company they call ring dings. They're the exact same thing as ding dongs. They're just made by a different company. And had I thought of it, I would have done a story involving ring dings, but I didn't think of it. So anybody out there wants to write that story, feel free.
Slip it in there. Slip it in there. Just slip a little ring ding in there.
I think having a ring ding in my that would be odd at best. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if you say so. Ellen Holmes did have a good point. You can also use this as an opportunity to buy the people that you know and love a copy of this exclusive hardcover. So in case you didn't catch that before, this hardcover will be one print run and you'll only be able to get it through the Kickstarter campaign. So if you want this stunning, I mean, we can already see that the cover's dope, but imagine with all the bells and whistles, make our dreams come true, please. Do it.
Yeah, and she also said you could buy it for your enemies as a gesture of peace, which I think was nice.
Oh, that is nice. I like that.
It's a time for healing and all that. So
yeah, exactly.
And we do have a way where you can get 2 and save a little bit of money.
Oh, how would one do that?
It's when the Kickstarter goes live, you'll see it as one of the options. So you can get two sets of emails and 2 digital copies and 2 hardcovers for a little less than you would get your 2 hardcovers for. So.
Oh, that's such a good deal. Well, you can practically get your whole Christmas list ticked off if you do that.
There you go.
We're making it so easy for you guys.
Right. You don't have to spend $6 a gallon in gas or anything. You just, Now, we will say this is being shipped from Canada. And so, if you're ordering it from Paraguay or something, shipping's going to cost you a few bucks.
Yeah.
So just be aware of what shipping is likely to cost you. We certainly would love you to buy the book, obviously, but we don't want you to,
break the bank,
be a beggar on the street because of it, with only that for comfort. So
it's not going to quite be worth it for homelessness. However, if you are able to, so does it calculate the shipping like later on?
We're going to be working with them. Hopefully we'll have that sorted out by September when it goes live, where people will be able to see what it is. This is still a little bit of a learning curve for us.
Sure. Yeah,
because I've never done a Kickstarter before. Mike has done a small one before, but certainly we've never done anything of this kind of scale. So it's a great thing to learn, to have, to be able to kind of go back on. And anybody listening to this right now, you will, if you didn't get all of this, trust me, you'll hear it again.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I'm
We're
sure
gonna
Mike
do
and I
that.
will talk about it at least 100 times between now and then.
At least.
Balding, and you'll buy a book just to make us stop talking about it. That's what's going to happen.
That's the threat.
Yes.
And if you don't support the Kickstarter, we may or may not haunt your inboxes anyway. You don't know. So it's best to just
Mike will hold one up every time.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. See, that would be great. So this time has gone by so quickly, but before we start winding the show down, how about we have a look at some of the authors that are going to be involved in this anthology?
Yeah, let's do that.
As if anybody needed any more convincing to take part in this campaign. Look at all those names. Some of them you can't see very well, but do you want to reel off a couple for us?
Yeah, I'll just go down the first column. AJ Poppy Alexanders, Isaac Anderson, K.E. Andrews, yourself, Mr. J.C.M. Byrne, Jay Bryden, myself, Mr. Mike Cahoon, Sebastian Carlisle, Victoria Clapton, who is a friend of yours?
I don't know. Maybe one day, but not currently.
No, she is a friend of Miriam's. Daniel Coolbaugh and Chris Casino, who you would probably know as the Bearded Book Beast.
Oh, no, I really didn't remember his actual real name because I know him as Beast.
yeah,
that's cool.
That's his name. Yep. And Trinity Cunningham, Dave Dobson, Jesse James Fain, Adam Fernandez, Nick Fuller, Matthew Gill, Ellen Holmes, Sean Joost, Philip Martin, who lives not too far from me down in Southwest Virginia. Cool. Tim McKay, the always visible on X Tim McKay.
We know Uncle Tim.
Our very own Mike Mollman, E.L. Montague, and I'll let you take the last column.
Oh God, I can't barely see it. Okay, so we've got Sarah Arnoux, who is always in the chat, and I'm so pleased that she's involved in this as well. Ryan M. Patrick, Timothy Robert, Ari Sanders, Ben Schenkman, who I think is also in the chat as well, Melissa Stone, Corvina Sweeney, Michael Vadney, J.R. White, Kane Williams, Tobias Youngblood, and oh my God, I can't see Miriam's name. I don't know how to pronounce her surname.
Miriam
Is it Yvette? Thank you so much, Miriam Yvette. So what a friggin' lineup.
It's a pretty solid lineup. You know, take Mike and I out of there, and this is outstanding. Yeah.
No, you can't take you two out of there. You're the foundation that's holding this thing together.
I don't know about that, but we're certainly happy to be involved in it, and just so grateful that everybody responded the way they did. You know, we didn't know what people were going to say, and when we started getting people saying yes, I started a Discord channel, put a message out, and I was literally typing out messages to people saying we had a Discord channel open, and this other tab was going ting, 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 people joining the Discord.
That's amazing.
And I was like, okay, so people really are kind of up for this, right? I mean, this isn't just, they weren't just being polite. They were really kind of excited by the prospect of doing this. And of course, having all these other authors get to kind of read your stories and things like that, it just makes a more cohesive indie community, really. It's been a real fascinating trip so far. I can't wait to see what happens in September.
It's going to be epic, I imagine. So there are going to be a lot more shows going on where this is going to be mentioned. I'm sure that all of the authors that are involved are going to be shouting it from the rooftops now we're allowed to talk about it, especially with the opportunity to like share kind of what people have written and do some teasing. I'm sure that a lot of authors are going to be doing that. But yeah, so if you've seen this announcement floating around on social media, there it is. There's going to be a kick-ass anthology that you can take part in as a backer on Kickstarter, and you can look forward to that and receiving all of the stories if you support the Kickstarter every day in December, which is pretty neat.
Be a nice way to end the year.
It would. Absolutely would.
And begin the next year.
Yeah. Because then they'll be able to look forward to their fancy books coming in.
That's right. Yeah. Get presents after Christmas. Whee!
Oh, you're welcome, whoever supports it. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we've been able to break the news because honestly, I keep going to talk about it and then go, I'm not allowed to. So it's nice that the cat's out of the bag, and hopefully you'll be let out of the basement in time for the Kickstarter.
I'll be in a different basement. That's all. That's
As long as someone's got a tracker on you, it's okay. But thank you so much for being here today. If there's anything that people want to know about the Kickstarter, then please do reach out to anyone on the list. That list probably will be able to at least help. If you want to support the Kickstarter, you can sign up for notifications for it starting on the 1st of September in the QR code that's like there. I'm lagging a little bit. It's down there somewhere. And there will also be a link in the description. I'll put that now that I'm allowed to and it's out there and it's public. I'll put the link to it in the description of this episode as well. So go check out Ro's books as well. Don't forget that because Ro also writes books.
free today and tomorrow.
Free today and tomorrow. Go get it. It's free. The link is in the description below as well. Again, I've made it very easy for you. Whether you've joined us in the live show or if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Ro, for giving me your time today. And
thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to wave goodbye to everybody, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.